The water from these man-made waterfalls has been flowing from here to the Gulf of Mexico along a 30-mile journey since the 1960s. This water has been having a whole lot of fun making that trip, and I'd like to do the same thing and take you along for the ride.
Howdy folks, my name's Casey and I am here to take you on a little adventure. Today we're at Rainbow Springs and the plan is to go from here, which we are at the spring head, go from here out to the Gulf of Mexico. So in order to get to the Gulf, we have to go through Lake Rousseau, which is full of alligators. We looked it up, it's got over 700 alligators in it. And then we got to go over that dam, and then we got to get to the Ingalls Lock and get past the Ingalls Lock before we get into the channel that was cut back in the 1920s-ish. And then that'll lead us out to the Gulf. So this is going to be a 2-day trip. It's going to be pretty exciting. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about the dam and the lock and getting through those just because there's not really portages. I do have my wheels on the back so I can do the portages that way. Just strap it to the bottom and hopefully everything goes smooth. So let's get to it. The water's crystal clear and beautiful.
I've heard people say that Rainbow Springs has the clearest water in all of Florida, and man, it is crystal clear right at the head springs here. But some quick facts on this. Rainbow Springs has the 4th highest outflow rate of all the Florida springs, and it's pumping 485 million gallons of water per day. And that is all crystal clear, awesome water. And it's always a nice 72 degrees. Swimming in this water feels great in the wintertime, but man, in the summertime, I don't know how those people are in the water because it feels freezing cold. But people have been swimming in this water for a long time. They found Native American artifacts dating back as far back as 10,000 years ago. So there's been a lot of people in this waterway. So we are far from the first and hopefully very far from the last of the people to be able to enjoy this. So that's a cool cormorant taking off right there. The way the sunlight's hitting that water, you can't really see down into it. I guess kind of you can, but man, kayaking it right there, I could see just straight down to the bottom. It was crystal clear still for a long ways, many miles. And you'll see pretty soon we catch up to some scuba divers that are enjoying it as well. I'm going to be quiet for a few seconds and let you just enjoy this peaceful cruise as I enjoyed it.
There is surprisingly very few people on the river. I was expecting it to be packed, but it is Wednesday, so I guess that helps. But there's some people behind us, but nobody in front of us. A lot of houses. It's like paddling through the neighborhood.
Along the bank on the right, you can see some scuba divers sitting in the water. And so I was trying to be able to pick them up, but they're too far away. Now the water's starting to get just slightly murky, but still not that bad. But as I'm paddling up, I see 2 more scuba divers. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to leave the camera on, try and catch them. So they're right up here, and can't really see them yet, but they're in the next clip. Yeah, they're there. And then right after I saw these scuba divers, up ahead I saw 2 more scuba divers on the left. They were down there pretty far. Looks like they're having a good time down there. Up ahead I can see the first of many river otter sightings. There he is, that one was pretty cool. And the next shots are better. But the cypress growths, I just think that's really neat to see. Just feels like Florida right there. There you can see the river otters playing just up ahead. You can see they're just having the best day ever. And then right up here, there was a couple more river otters playing around.
All right, so right over here is where the tubers get out. So we should be about to the withlacoochee, I think. My Garmin maps isn't really working, so I'd have to check my phone maps, and my hands are wet and it's too complicated. So I figure as long as the water's flowing, I go with that direction and we should be good. All right, so we are officially on the Withlacoochee River, and now we just gotta figure out how to get to Lake Rousseau. So already it's been kind of challenging on all the inlets and different places that the river could be going. But right now this is pretty easy, pretty wide and obvious where the river is. So just keep on cruising. It's beautiful out here. Got overcast, so not getting baked by the sun. Just no issues at all. Life is good. Here we are in, I believe it's downtown Dunellen. I was just looking at the map on my phone. The GPS maps is great for coastal, but it doesn't have rivers for some reason. So I don't know if that's an update that I can do. But I checked my phone to see where we were gonna go. And this river makes a bunch of winds and twists and turns and bends and options and places to go. But I think as long as I stay left at every junction, I should be good. It'll be the quickest route to get to Lake Rousseau. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll double check a few more times, but as of right now, that's my current plan. But nice and easy. This wild section of the Withlacoochee River is so awesome. I'm just gonna do a slow pan. I haven't seen any alligators yet. A little surprised. We'll definitely see some in Lake Rousseau though. No, but I am living the life right now. It's so cool. So the water current seems to be flowing at about a mile an hour. So this is like super easy. There is a lot of breeze. There's some storms building up. So every now and then we'll get gusts that are pushing pretty hard. I would guess around 10-ish, 10 miles an hour. But with paddling, we're still cruising 4 knots. There's another river otter just in front of us. Those river otters are out like crazy today. So I don't see if it does it again. This water's too dark to put the camera underwater to see them, but it's just right out here. But yep, this is so far an awesome adventure. Pressing on. I don't know if you can see it, but the wind is blowing like crazy right now. Like really hard to make forward progress. And like once I stop paddling, start to go back. But this is going to be the way Lake Rousseau is going to be. So you can see how turned up the water is getting. I'd say that wind's blowing 15 miles an hour. Trying to cup for the wind noise, but it is so windy. I mean, it doesn't really look like it, but man, it is. It's pretty windy, it's blowing. Maps isn't really doing me any favors. It keeps telling me that there's pathways, and I mean, there's water there, but I can't go that way. So we're just trying to make our way to Lake Rousseau, which is over in this direction somewhere, so we'll figure it out. But I gotta get paddling, drifting into the lily pads here. All right, we found the channel. So this will lead us out to Lake Rousseau, so that's good. But fighting this headwind is really slowing us down. So I can maintain about 3.5 to 4, but it's a lot of energy. And once I stop, I stop. So It's a workout, and getting through Lake Rousseau, I'm a little concerned with. I might stop and eat lunch, then wait. So, figure that out when I get there. Well, I had to pull over and just take a little break. But I don't know if you can see the surface of that water and how fast it's moving. Like that wind is just pushing it. I'm being blocked by these cypress trees right here from the wind, but yeah, it's crazy out there. And right now I can mark on the GPS to show how far away, about roughly where the dam is, and it's just kind of like a rough estimate because it doesn't really show on the Garmin here. It doesn't show where the dam is. But I'm getting really worn out. Just hoping I can make it. I want to get at least to the dam today. Like I almost have to, because you know, Lake Rousseau is surrounded by houses, so there's no place to camp out here. So I had to get beyond there. But it's coming up on 2 o'clock now. So I do have a lot of daylight. I just don't have a lot of energy. So, and I'm getting a little dehydrated. I've been drinking a lot of water lately. So we'll see what I can do. But I'm just going to keep pushing. I probably won't video much. I'm just trying to get through Lake Rousseau. And this is Lake Rousseau. It's also called Stump Lake. There's tree stumps all over the place. You can imagine doing this in a powerboat. You got to stay in the channel. So, but all right, I'm going to get going. See you at the dam, hopefully. With the wind the way it is, I'm having a real hard time even maintaining 3 miles an hour. It is just kicking my butt so bad right now. Like right now, I'm just trying to settle in at an easy pace, kind of conserve energy, and I'm going 2.5 miles an hour. So, I mean, this is just absolutely brutal. And I got 5 miles to go roughly, well, 4 miles to go roughly. Man, let's hope I get there. I'll tell you, if the winds were blowing out of the east, this would be a whole different experience. But man, we're trying to go west, and that wind is a direct west wind, and it's got to be 15, 20 miles an hour. It is just, it's cooking. But you can see the water that I'm going into. Back there was getting waves about almost a foot high. Like, it was crazy. But this water is so shallow, it's only a couple of feet deep, so it's not really stirring up too much. But man, it's something. Alright, so we're about 2 miles from the dam. Slowed way down. You can see the waves are, you know, almost a foot. I don't know how deep Lake Rousseau is, but I'm in weeds like constantly, so. This is the fight, the big battle. Constantly for the past 2.5 hours. But luckily we only got about an hour to go. We'll be out of here. My arms are done. I don't know how much further after the dam I'm gonna be able to go. Just find a place to stealth camp, and I gotta rest. I gotta eat, I gotta drink. I'm dehydrated. I drank all my water that's up front. So now I'm down to the 2 gallons, but they're behind me. So I can't access them right now. I gotta be able to get out of the kayak. So I wasn't planning on it being this strenuous or this long to get through Lake Rousseau. So this is crazy conditions for a little lake. Well, we've made it to the west end of Lake Rousseau. That's channel marker 1 and channel marker 2. And I thought there was going to be a dam, and there still might be up there. We'll have to get up there and find out, but we made it across. That's amazing. So we're, no matter what, I will be getting out of the kayak soon. Been sitting in here for a long time, 5 hours. So I'm ready to get out, stretch my legs, get my hands a little break too. They're all pruned out. So, all right, and I need to eat and hydrate and do all those things, and then we'll press on again. So, all right, the wind's got me, pushing me. Let's get back to it. Whew. All right, so there was no dam. We've made it to the lock. Can't not paddle for very long because we've got this barrier right here. We can't go that way. But I do want to go up inside this channel and see if I can get out and portage around it. But this is the Ingalls Lock from the Marjorie Harris Carr waterway that was being built, the Cross Florida waterway. And that's looking behind us. Yeah, pretty cool. All right, so I just landed right here. I did see a truck driving up there, so there's people here. So I guess we'll just go ask and see if we can portage, because I do have to walk all the way across this property to get to the other side. So let's figure this one out. Well, that was a very ungraceful exit. I stepped out of the kayak, then my thigh muscle locked up, then my ab muscle locked up, and I just kind of rolled out, splashed in the water. Luckily I didn't roll the kayak, but I went swimming and then had to pull it out. My paddle's still, at least it's not floating away. But all right, I gotta drink and get these cramps to go away. All right, so I just talked to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Park Service guy. He was really cool. So he was gonna load my kayak up in the truck and then take me to the other side, but the other side here isn't the barge canal. It leads to a bypass, and then because he asked me where my final destination was, and I told him Yankeetown, and he said that he would load me up and take me over there, but it's not the straight cut barge canal. So he told me to go back onto Lake Rousseau, circle around, and then take at the dam, go out over and then down back through the old withlacoochee, and then that leads to the barge canal. So that's what I'm doing. He said take as long of a break as I need to, so I'm going to sit here, hydrate up, get all my waters refilled, and then we'll press on again. Well, I was hoping to say I was going to be able to launch without incident, but I was stepping on the concrete. So right here on the ramp is concrete. It's got a moss on it, and I stepped on it, and I slipped and fell on the concrete. So I'm having a heck of a time today. But we are back in the kayak. Now we just got to get around to the other side, get across the dam, and then get into the real canal, the cut canal. But we got to find a place to camp too. But our little stay at the lock was nice. Got rehydrated, got some food, feeling pretty good. So, and we don't have far to go to get to the dam. It's like probably about a mile or so, I'd imagine. And then half of that distance we'll have the wind at our back, which would be awesome. So easy paddling for a minute. But yeah, my muscles aren't locking up like they were. My left tricep is pretty tight. But again, we're almost done for the day. So we got another probably 2 or 3 hours, and then we'll be setting up camp somewhere. Man, the joke really is on me. I spent 5 hours paddling into the wind to maintain 3.5 knots and just beating myself up. This riding with the wind is so calm and peaceful, and we're at 3 knots with barely touching the water. So this is great. Yeah, it's going to be short-lived. We only have a couple 100 yards to go here. Yeah, that's as far as we're going. Oh geez, these tree stumps are like landmines. I've hit 2 of them already, but they're just like right under the surface. You can see like the bird's sitting on one there, but it's pretty scary. If I catch one just right, it's gonna flip me. So I'm trying to go slow. But we've gone that far already from back there. We just got to get around this point up here. So probably about a mile to go. Not too bad. I was beginning to think I went the wrong way. It's been half an hour paddling, but there's the dam right there. So now we just got to find the boat launch and then haul out, get it down to the lower section and put it back in. So now that we're in the lower part of the Withlacoochee River, it's like a sigh of relief. Like I feel so much better. Like my ab muscles still hurt. They keep locking up like really tight. Like I have to like push on them to make them relax. But I feel so much better now that we're down here. We have 8 miles to get to our haul out tomorrow. We still have probably, I'm going to say 3 before we find a campsite, because we still got to wiggle down through until we get to the old cut channel. So, and I want to stay somewhere on that cut channel on the Marjorie Harris Carr waterway. So I'm just going to go ahead and wiggle on out of here, get there, and then we will find camp. But we're doing pretty good. It's 5:10, so we still have a couple hours of sunlight. So like, I feel pretty confident that this is doable now. When I started, I wasn't really sure, but I think we'll be good as long as we can find a clearing somewhere. This section of river is wild. It's dead, it's tidal. There's no flow through here because it's dammed up. So there's not a lot of motion to the water. A lot of turtles. An old rope swing. So, but yeah, it's pretty neat. All right, we found it. We are on the lock. That opening leads all the way out to the Gulf of Mexico. And really that's only in 7 miles, it says. So that's pretty cool. And all this was cut, a lot of it using hand tools and mules and stuff. They were wanting to do it for profit, not for, you know, not to make it fast. So that they could have had machines and dredgers and do all this digging, but that wasn't going to create jobs. So they dug all this out mainly, yeah, by hand and using mules and carts to haul everything away. But this is pretty impressive. I mean, that's a huge cut. 6 miles, 7 miles out to the Gulf. I've seen a couple places that look possible to pull off on, but I wanted to get past this bridge that's up ahead. Is the I-98 bridge or 19 bridge or 38th Street, depending on where you're at. But right here it's the 98th. So I want to get beyond that, and then that'll give us just about 4 miles to go to Yankeetown, 4 or 5 miles to Yankeetown. So I'm pretty tired today, and so what I want to do is just go ahead and burn myself out the rest of the way because it's already done. And tomorrow I know I'm going to be sore, so that way I make tomorrow's trip easier. That's the goal. So anyway, I'm just going to get beyond this bridge, and then I'm going to start looking for a spot on the right. There is a trail that runs up here for the Cross Florida Waterway Trail. So I know it's there somewhere, so I'm hoping to find that and then be able to camp somewhere on that. So, all right. It's 5:50, so almost 6 o'clock. I definitely won't go past 7. It gets dark around 8-ish, sun sets around 8, so I want time to set up camp. So, all right, back to paddling. It was when I was driving over this bridge going to Cedar Key that I saw this cutaway, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta find out what this is and how to get on it. So we did it. Well, I'm a little confused now. So I thought that the Cross Florida Waterway was 3 miles wide, like what was deemed the state park, the Marjorie Harris Carr Park. And I'm seeing not houses, but I'm seeing fences along the side. So almost like there's houses up in there. So I don't know. But I also see a dock up ahead. So I don't know. I'll have to check on an overhead map, like a satellite view, and see what's up there. So finding a place to stay tonight might be an issue. Up here, there's a little covered bench. So this is where the trail is, or the waterway. But the side is very steep rock, and like I could try and get out, but it's going to be really tippy. And then once I get out, I have nowhere to pull the kayak, like to hide it. So it's going to be really obvious that I'm up there. So I think what I'm going to do is just push on out a little further and hope that I find something else. And if not, we'll have to go to the end, like into the Gulf area, and there's a bunch of little islands out there. So we'll see. It's 6:30. We don't have a lot of time left. Let's find a place to camp. So there's this shelter right here. And it's on the trail. So, I mean, it's public use. If I can get out, because it's very rocky, and then it's just a drop off right there. But this rock that I'm on's got this little shelf spot. So I think I'm gonna put my foot right there. And I think this will be a good spot. I just hope I don't lose the kayak when I get out. All right, like I'm not gonna film it. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm changing my mind. It's just too tippy, and I don't have any ropes attached to the top of the kayak right now. So I'm afraid if I get out and push the kayak on accident, then I gotta swim to catch it and then get back in it and then paddle somewhere else. So I'm gonna pretend that happened and I'm just gonna paddle somewhere else. All right, we found a place to land safely. So you can see we're nosed in and we got rocks on either side of us. It's a little tippy right here, but I mean, it's not horrible. Well, I wasn't expecting this, but I went up there and the trail is a paved trail. So this is where we're staying tonight, but just have to be off to the side a little bit. So yeah, that's what it looks like. Pretty paved, but I think it's just for bicycles. And since it's so late, no one's really going to be on it tonight, hopefully. And we're just going to sit up right off to the side of it. One of the downsides about having long hair, my hair is pretty long, is that it gets knotted up in the back, in the ponytail, where it rubs on the life vest. So every time you turn your head, it kind of twists up just a little bit, and it gets so knotted. But it brushes out. This brush from Walmart, the best brush I've ever had. Actually went there and tried brushes and found the one that didn't pull that hard, and this one just untangles really easy. It's a Conair, if you're curious. But so this is where I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to very crudely just crash out here. I'm so tired. I'm just going to get something to eat, get some food in my belly, and then pass out. I'm done. I'm about to turn the Garmin off, but I wanted to check. I got 23 miles in 9 hours. So, yeah, not great. That was into the wind almost all day long, so I'll take it. So I just heard a sound down at the water, like something big walking through it. I was like, oh, that animal, whatever it is. So I just came down here, and on the other bank was a river otter rolling and splashing and playing around. So there we go. That's my Bigfoot. It's a river otter. I just got so lucky. So I had laid the cot out right beside the path. I was like, no one's gonna be driving down here. It's too late. Well, I thought, you know, I really should be hidden just a little bit, just in case. So I was, and a DNR or FWC, whoever drove down that little paved path. So, I mean, they got to come back this way too. So I took everything that was up there, and then I just rehung my hammock, and I'm set up off the road a bit more. But I'll go up there and show you what it looks like from there, looking back. Anyone on the water is going to see me. The hammock's right there. But there's just not enough space between the water and the trail, and the other side's so overgrown I can't get over there. And plus I don't want to be that far away from my kayak. So all right, so he went that way, so he's got to drive back coming this way. So if you look off, you can kind of see the corner of the hammock. So he's gonna have to be like staring right there to see it. So I think we're good. And the kayak is too close to the mound to see down there. So I think we're stealthy from that guy as long as I'm quiet. For dinner, I found this ancient mountain house chicken stew. I have no, look how old that thing is. I'm gonna cook it in a separate bag. So, but it smells really strong, which isn't good. It's the raccoons, but I'm just gonna eat it and then pack everything up in the waterproof bag and then stick it in the kayak, so hopefully the raccoons don't smell it too much. There's no like flat space of sitting on the on a slope, but this is what I gotta do. So, but I'm gonna try this old mountain house, see if it's any good. It smells good. Oh, I should have added more water, I think. Oh, that definitely needs stirred up here. I'm not trying this right now. All right, give it a shot now. It's really salty, but yeah, it's good. All right, well, the sun's setting on a very hard day. I'm ready to crawl in and go to bed. I'm not too worried about animals tonight. Raccoons maybe, but I am a little bit worried about high tide because the high water mark is right underneath the hammock. So as long as my butt stays dry, I'll be good. So I will see you all hopefully in the morning. Hopefully in the morning. Good night. So I just checked weather to see how it's going to be, and it's calling for some pretty bad storms tonight and all through tomorrow morning. So let me show you my screen here if I can figure it out. So starting at 3 a.m., thunderstorms all the way down till about 2 p.m. So now what I'm thinking, I hate to do it. I can't press on out into the Gulf, but there was a boat ramp just a couple miles back by that bridge, the 98 bridge. I think I might pack up, even though it'll be dark, just paddle back to that boat ramp and call for a ride now, because I think the storms are just going to be too bad for too long. But I think that's the right move. Because otherwise tomorrow it's supposed to be winds out of the west again, driving all those storms. So the water's just going to be, it's just going to be really bad getting out to Yankeetown. So yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Yeah, unfortunate. Okay. All right, good news. I was able to get in the kayak without flipping it. The bad news is that it's low tide right now. And man, my hair is all tangled right now. But when I was stepping out into the kayak, since it was low tide, there was all the oyster shells, and I'm barefoot, and I sliced at my left foot. So I don't know how bad it is. It just hurts. So, but my kids are awesome. They're coming out to get me. So I'll see them in about an hour, and this trip will be over. So if I don't get back on here, then this is the last clip. And thank you all for joining, and I'll see you next time. Next time will be just a day trip. I want to go through Tampa. I'm taking a little play out of my friend Matt's playbook. He has a YouTube channel called 2 Feet Outdoors, and it's really good. You should check him out. But he's up in New York running around up there. So I wanted to steal one of his moves and do a city run. So I'm going to do Tampa. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.